Brought to you in part by Susan Shute at Exclusive Realtors, servicing South Chicagoland, Northwest Suburbs, Kankakee, and Will County. Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. I'm going to put a 1-inch spacer lift on the rear of this truck today, along with these Timbren helper springs for when you're loaded, like with a trailer or something heavy in the back. I did in the previous videos put 2-inch rough country springs and struts up front. It didn't go up all the way to the 2 inches because of the winch I have on it. So I added some 1/4-inch spacers above the struts itself. And now the front and the back is about only a 1/2 inch difference. So I don't want to lower the front because I'm happy where the front is, but the back to me should be a little bit higher because when I put a trailer on it or a load, I want it to sit level then. So I just want to bump up the back a little bit with these suspension Maxx aluminum spacers. They're going to go under the spring. They sit right on top of, there's a piece on the axle like this already. This is going to go over it. The spring's going to go back on here. This goes underneath, and this is going to secure it so it can't fall out. I don't see how it would, but I guess it's there just in case. So I'm going to do it on the lift. I guess this can be done on the ground, but I don't feel like doing that. I am going to measure the space for these. I'm not really sure where I want to be at, but I want to see what the clearance is going to be, because I did order some spacers where this comes off, and you can make this so that your clearance before they hit is, between a 1/2 inch and 1.5 inches. And I'm thinking the more space you have, the smoother it will be before these come into play. But I don't want it like 2 inches off, so I have to kind of see where these are going to be, or else maybe I won't put these in until the spacers have not come yet. So I'm just going to see where I'm at. All right, so I took the sway bar, just these 2 bolts out of here on each side that holds it there, and then just the shock mount bolts on the bottom. I just got to push them out, and I have a transmission jack right here supporting the axle. So then once I get the bolts out, I can lower the axle. Watching these hoses and stuff, make sure I don't stretch anything out too far. So I put a mark, you can see it right here, and a mark here to line it back up. But on the other side, the rubber piece stayed up there, so that's good. So I'm just going to leave it up there, and I can kind of see the spring winding where it sits in its original spot. But I just had to pull down on the axle a little bit so I can get this spring out. Oh, the rubber's stuck. So it's a good thing I marked it then, because there's these 2 little dimples you got to line up top. So the spacer here has a piece that mounts to the, well, it's like a little half moon thing. And they want you to put Loctite on it. So I'm going to use a little blue. Then you just slide it in here. I just kind of turned it until it was touching the axle. Now you're just going to put your spacer. At this point I can turn it a little more, back it off just a little bit, so it's not actually touching. It's a 15mm nut. And then after it's tight, they just want you to cut the excess off so it's a little above the nut, so it's easier to get the spring on. Okay, so I got it in there. On this side, it's a little tighter than the passenger side. I just had to use a pry bar and just bump it up. Push the axle down at the same time as the spring goes up. Gives you just a little more room. I used high-tack gasket stuff to hold the rubber piece up there while I put the spring in. It was much easier. Okay, so I got it all buttoned up. Sway bar, bolts attached again. Shock bolts tight on the bottom. And that's it for this. And I think I'm gonna try out these rubber springs as is for now and see how it is, because it's like the clearance may be just a touch over an inch and a half. So I might just try that out. If anything, I'll just pop them out later and add the spacers, but we're going to try it out. So what I put in there is tire lube, so we'll see if that does anything. I think I got it. Now, when you're done, you can put a 2x4 here and lower the truck on it, and it'll press it in more. So I probably will do that, but I think it's all the way in. Okay, so there it is. We're back to a little bit higher in the back, which, you know, I load this thing up and tow with it, so I kind of need that. But not too bad. Also, I was able to find a decal that on eBay that mimics the Rebel style. I did measure underneath the truck for the Timbren springs to the pads that they hit when you put a load on it, and there's 2 inches gap, and they're saying they want a 1/2 inch to an inch and a half. So I did order the spacers, but I did not get them because they're, I think, on back order or something, and it'll be like a week or so before I get them. So it's not that big of a deal because I'm not really towing anything with it right now. So it can wait. Now, maybe the truck might come down a little bit after a couple days. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. And then I can decide whether, with the spacers, what gap I want to set with the axle. I think I want more gap than less. That way it's a softer ride and it doesn't, those springs don't come into play until it really comes down level. So we'll see. I can play with that, but I'm happy with that. Now really the next test will be for this truck, will be towing that 24-foot car hauler. Now that I got the gears changed out and these assisting Timbren springs, I'm hoping to have a better feel as far as acceleration goes and a better feel on the road at speed. You know, I'm not trying to break any records going fast, but I mean just normal speed, 55 to 65 miles an hour without feeling squishy in the back end, which I don't know if it had something to do with the wind last time because it was a little bit windy, but you know, my TRX dealt with it a little bit better actually, so we'll see with that. But please like and subscribe, and there's going to be more to come. Thank you.